So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am David Kim. I was just introduced. It's late in the afternoon, and I was sitting here at the conference, and I was getting a little bit tired, so I'm going to try my best job to deliver a good presentation. So I would also like to say hello to our online participants. I am from Intake. Our company was established in 2013, so it's been a little bit over 10 years. We are a food tech startup. As I was listening to the previous speakers, their companies had history of 50, 100 years, 150 years. So I was amazed, and I thought that I would work hard to make sure that our company also can have a very long history. So I'm going to talk about food tech, sustainability, environment-friendly technologies, and how we've applied this to the food industry. So first of all, we have a lot of different products. In 2013, we created this product called Dr. Nuts. So that was the beginning point. And then since then, we've had morning porridge, meals, sugar roll, vital water, and innocent. So these are the products in our product portfolio. And when we were developing these products, I studied food engineering, and we say food tech in English. But a lot of my seniors, they were working in food engineering industry. And of course, when we were in college, they're still eating what we're eating in the 1980s. We're still eating 신라면 and 새우깡. All of those products that were developed in the 70s and 80s, we're still eating it. So I thought that we need a new product, something novel. And so if you look at nuts, this was a new product that we introduced into the market. And then if you look at morning porridge, it was a porridge you eat in the morning. And then meals is a substitute food. So it's completely nutritional. It can replace a meal. And then from 2019, we looked at alternative sugar beverages. And then in 2019, we also looked at alternative meats. So for alternative foods, this is going to be the topic of my presentation. And so when we think about, being environment friendly, we think about alternative foods. And I'm sure some of you might know, but some of you not be familiar. So if I can explain. So there's a lot of issues regarding food resources, animal welfare, climate change, environmental issues. And so all of this has led to more interest on alternative foods. And so here you can see the alternative food. So we have alternative eggs, alternative meat, as well as food-based products and microbial food-based products. So in order to define this definition of food tech, we have to think about it. So recently we've seen a lot of talk about food tech. So we have to think what is food tech. And many people have not given us the definition of food tech. So I try to define food tech, what it means. So you should have tech here, but tech is not here, but that's a mistake. So you need food plus tech, and we'll see how this is divided. So there are external variables that has changed, and so for food, there's been a lot of change in terms of external factors. We see increase in population. There's climate change. Of course, in Korea, the population is declining, but they're saying that the global population will go to 10 billion in 2050. If you look at the food supply chain, there are disruptions. Of course, there's the Ukraine war, and then during the COVID-19, we saw disruption in the food supply chains. So if you look at on the left-hand side, there are external environmental changes regarding food, and then the right-hand side looks at tech. So there is AI technology, there is automation, digitalization, hyperconnectivity, and the development of biotechnology has actually led to help us to use new technology to address these new problems in food industry. So there are new problems that are being created, and then on the right-hand side, using food tech, we can actually address these challenges using new solutions. And here you have food and then you have tech. So I'm missing tech here on this slide. And so from this perspective, we have to think about what we are going to focus on. So plant-based alternative foods, microbiome-based foods, and alternative sugar-based foods are the three type of foods that we focused on. So we're also going to look at alternative meat today and food-based products. Of course, you already know all of this. So this is a newspaper article from March. So up until March, the global temperature compared to pre-industrial level was higher for 10 months straight. So basically what this means is that compared to pre-industrial levels, the average temperature, the monthly average temperature when measured, the surface temperature was the highest for 10 months. And so we had 10 hottest months. And now if we actually surpass 12 months, it means that we continue to break the records that we have set before. So on the right-hand side, you can see the newspaper article, and there were many different issues regarding climate change. So in 2023, in this academic journal, it said that it's so confusing, it's hard to predict the future. There's going to be a climate crisis. And for 10 months consecutively, we continue to break the record in terms of temperature, but in July, we were able to actually stop this rise in temperature. So 10 months and then to the second 12-month and 13-month, we continue to see high temperatures, but we actually had 2 days where it was the hottest in our history. So you can see 2006, 2009, and you can see the dates here. And so those days are the hottest days in our history. And I thought that this was a crisis, but a few days later, on I think it was July 25th, once again, the temperature rises by 0.15 degrees. And so we actually break our own record of the hottest day. And here you can see the UN Secretary General, and he's talking about how we need turbo change, we need new changes. So we understand that climate change is a very urgent problem. There's a lot of different activities regarding net zero and how are we going to curb temperature rise of 1.5 degrees. But here you can see in 2030, it's going to increase more than 1.5 degrees, and we are going to see temperatures rise rapidly and actually exceed the 2-degree mark. And so from this perspective, I think EVs received a lot of attention. So internal combustion engines actually produce a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, and so EVs were seen as an alternative option for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And so alternative protein and microbiome-based products, plant-based products also received a lot of attention for the same reasons. So some of you might know and some of you might not know, but one of the things that really impressed me was that when we talk about vehicles as well as public transportation and all of the greenhouse gas emitted, actually there is more greenhouse gas emissions from the livestock industry. Of course, not only CO2, but methane. There's a lot of harmful gases being emitted from the livestock industry. And not only that, there's a lot of food waste that is being generated through the food industry that impacts the greenhouse gas emissions. And so initially, we looked at creating alternative meat. So in 2019, we began our journey, and And in 2019, we thought about what should we make. There is no such products in the market, so what sort of product are we going to create, and what sort of products would be popular with consumers? We actually benchmarked foreign markets. In IKEA, they had meatballs. So if you go to IKEA, I'm sure that many of you have tried the meatballs there. I don't know if Korea IKEA serves meatballs, but the meatballs are very popular. And these are plant-based meatballs, and there's a lot of sales of these plant-based meatballs. So we created a vegetable ball using plant-based ingredients. In 2019, we got a lot of feedback from consumers, and what we found was there was a lot of word called falafel. And so this was a food item that was from the Middle East. It's like a korke, and it's from the Middle East. It's made using soybean, and so chickpea beans, and so it tastes like pork cutlet. So it tastes like a pork cutlet, and it was, I thought, a great product to replace meat, and we created a product, and we created the first HMR product for falafel, and we promoted it. People shared with us how they were enjoying it. And so we thought that this is possible. So within 5 to 6 months, we actually launched various products. You have chicken nuggets. Here you have vegetable curry. You have tonkatsu. You have beef patty. And we also have chicken and various products that were launched. So we launched about 20 products very quickly. And we have online marketing, and that is our main marketing. So we had pop-up stores, we had a blog, we had consumer feedback. So in the blog, we created contents and we uploaded those contents. And so you can see that we have consumer focus groups, and there was various activities. And we were able to see consumers react. So if you look at on the top, you have innocent vegan cutlet. This is amazing. So our products were very tasty, and we thought that it was really a great products. It was delicious, and so we launched various products. We sold a lot of our products, but the success in the market didn't meet our expectations. We really thought our products tasted good, but they weren't selling as much as we wanted to. So we thought about this issue. We felt that there were issues or challenges we needed to overcome. And when we make other products, we thought about what we do. So for our existing products, when we develop these products, we actually go through a list of questions. They're very naive questions. Do we really have to eat this? Is there a need to eat this? Who, when, where, how do they eat this? Is there a problem? Why do we have to do this? So these are some of the questions that we go through when we develop a product. But when we are creating a plant-based meat, I think we focus too much on creating that product itself. Rather than asking these questions, we are more focused on creating the product itself. And so we thought very hard and looked back on our activities. For the next generation, if they do eat plant-based products, I think we have to clearly show them, why they have to eat these plant-based products. If the product was on the shelf, people would choose that product. But these days, you actually have to compete with all these other products. So people, if they really need to eat the product, even if it is expensive, they will buy it. But if there's something that they don't need, even if it is cheap, they will not buy it. So when we go to various trade fairs and events, when people eat plant-based products, the first reaction we get is, oh, it's okay. It's really not bad. I think I would pay money to buy it. But in the online, when we think about the products we buy, there has been a change. When we buy a product online, you don't buy a product you think, oh, it's not bad. You only buy products that you really want to buy. I'm doing that, and I think if you go to online websites, top 3 products that are selling are very popular, but the 4th, 5th most selling products, the actual quantity of products that are sold are not that great. So the product has to become a product that people must buy. And so that is something that we focused on. So if you look at maybe Nestle or EU market, there's a lot of people purchasing power, and there's already a lot of people who like vegan products. But in Korea, we already have tofu and a lot of products. So people actually don't know why they have to eat vegan or vegetable or plant-based meat. So here you can see the approach that we took. So ultimately, you have to look at demand momentum and then supply consistency and external factors. So all of this has to come together to grow your product, and not just alternative meat, but for all types of alternative food and new technology. I believe this is valid. So if you look at the alternative meat, you have a trigger, then you go to the peak, and then you have that slope, and then we're in the bottom, disillusionment. And so do you go up or not? That is something that we do not know. So you need to have a driving engine, driving force to get you out of that valley. And so it has to be environment friendly. So plant-based products or alternative meat, in order to be accepted in the market, I think it has to be environment friendly. So we thought about how we are going to solve this problem, and so we here prepared various case studies. So if we can't actually persuade people with the taste, maybe we should persuade people with function. So it will be plant-based protein, and we'll sell it at the same price as animal protein. So when everything is equal, plant protein, for animal protein, there are limitations, but compare to the animal protein, for the plant-based protein product, you can actually increase the amount of protein that you include in your product. So we created this chicken breast cube. So there was various strategies that we employed, and we were able to push it out into the market, but it didn't really sell a lot, because we did impact the market. But one thing that we thought was, when it's a plant-based protein chicken breast square, people ask us, is this a chicken breast or is this plant-based? So it confused consumers. And there was a lot of education cost in teaching the consumers about what the product was. So we actually fine-tuned our product, and we try to communicate with the consumer. And then here in COEX, if you go, there is a restaurant operated by 신세계. It's called You Are What You Eat, and they sell plant-based meals. When you say plant-based meals, they don't actually explicitly highlight this. So it's just a casual family restaurant, and they sell various types of food. And you can see there's beautiful cutlery and dishes. So you have truffle jjajangmyeon, and there are all these very delicious products, but they're using plant-based ingredients. And so they use the restaurant to provide plant-based ingredients. So this actually can appeal to consumers as a restaurant you want to visit. So I think 신세계 was very smart in promoting plant-based ingredients. So this we felt could be a solution to our problems. So this is from the United States, and in the U.S. there have restaurants that sell various products. So you can see it's a bowl type product. And another interesting item was the Impossible food. So if you look at the commercial, so it's a hamburger and an Impossible hamburger, and they're talking to each other. And so it says, "Are you a plant?" And then the Impossible Burger says, "I am a plant." So you're not a meat. So I am a meat. So you're a plant, but you're a meat? Yes, I am. So you don't taste like meat? No, I really taste like meat. So they have this little chit chat, and then in the end it says, "I don't understand what you're talking about," and then I don't have any of the carbon impact or cholesterol that you have, and then that's the end of the sort of chit chat. So they are introducing that this is a new plant-based meat. So whether it's sheep, cow, pig, so they're just approaching it as plant-based meat. So if you look at Impossible Foods in the past, you could actually see they use green, so it's a very strong contrast with the red. But now they've actually created a product that people want to buy and eat. And what was interesting is, or insight that we were able to get is these two. So if you look at the left-hand side, that's Beef Light, the product, and on the right, it's called Emergent Burger. And it's the same beef, but actually has less than 75% saturated fat. On the right hand, it says it's juicy, thick, and it's really delicious meat-like product. So here you can see the total saturated fat is you actually take 85% of the daily consumption. So I thought, is that possible to sell that type of product? But I think that it actually provided a point to the consumer about why they should eat this product. And I don't have a lot of time, but I am speeding through my presentation. But so this is a German company, and it's called Lugenwalde-Mühle. The pronunciation is a bit hard, but I think they are going through M&A. And so we don't know what's going to happen to this company, but the concept itself is that it's a plant-based meat. So they actually weren't focusing on plant-based meat. So they're the second largest meat processing company in Germany. They're using the same logo, and now they change it to green, and they are providing a vegan product with added nutrients for children. So this helped them to increase the product of their sales in the German market. So the existing meat processing companies are also selling plant-based meat, and so I think that collaboration with them could help us to make inroads into the market as well. So here, it's kind of a cliche example, but this is Tesla. So I was talking about EV. When we think about Tesla, there's a lot of things we can think about. So we thought about environment friendly, energy saving aspects of an EV. So EV had a very good image. But for Tesla, their EVs, it's very desirable. So it's a very wonderful EV. So it has all of the characteristics of an EV, but they were able to let consumers sort of rediscover the beauty of owning an EV. So I think for plant-based products, it has to be different from the existing products. It's not just a good product. It's a product you want to buy. It's a product you want to eat. So there are a lot of hurdles that we have to overcome. So in order to compete in the global market, there are a lot of technical aspects that we have to look at. And we also have to find reasons for people to buy our products. And in order to change the awareness of consumers or perception of consumers, there are different sort of categories and products that we have to look at. So here we actually study the real chicken, the real meat, and every day we are frying chicken, and we are thinking about how do we create a delicious chicken using our plant-based ingredients, and ultimately we want to create and provide chicken that is provided at restaurants. So it's not just, oh, it's good enough, it's something that you really want to eat. That is our goal. And so here you can see tech is missing here. But currently we are focusing on solving the problem and how to attract consumers. But I think in the future, food tech needs to provide new values. So we're not just trying to create meat. We want to think about, what sort of values consumers can derive from the meat that we create. So I hope this type of food tech becomes commercialized and promoted.